Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, the bets are in for UFC Paris. I got a ton of bets out on this card. I picked out a few. I got my DFS plays. If you're a fan of the show, you know the DFS plays have been schmacking. They always schmack. I'll give you the results. I actually went through and tallied up the results from the DFS plays. So that'll be big. That'll be later in the video. And if you're watching this for the first time, welcome in. If you're watching this as a recurring viewer, please hit the subscription button. 70% of you are not subscribed that are the viewers. So please, it's free. Just hit the button for me. Hit the like button for me. We're going to go through, give you some bets, give you the DFS plays. And in this video, I will show you how you can get all of my UFC plays for UFC Paris and the next week of Dana White Contender Series absolutely free. So just stay tuned for that. Without any further ado, let's take a look at the recap of the best bets record. UFC 306, we dropped the unit. Yasmin Jauregui getting KO'd. That's how we dropped the unit. We also had a play on Ronaldo Rodriguez inside the distance. Don't know how he didn't find a TKO in that second round. I mean, that would have been amazing. You know, I don't know how O'Day Osborne just magically has cardio. Weird stuff. But okay, we'll take the loss there. But we did hit a play on Esteban Hebovic's plus 3.5 point spread. He got it done he got his hand raised, so that really wasn't much of a sweat. So on the show record, we're still positive, but we did drop one at UFC 306. We're always transparent here. We got it all. The record right here. We went on a nice little run. Let's get back in that green column this week. Let's get into it. First play, I'm going to give you a parlay, and I like this parlay. I do. I really do, because I just think they're levels above their opponents, and unless we see something crazy happen, I think they get their hand raised, whether they get it done inside the distance, where they win by a decision. I think we can parlay these two together, and we can cash a bet here. So Taylor Lapilus, money line. I think he's sitting around like minus 360. I just don't see where Vince Morales is better. You know, I just don't really see a path for Vince Morales to get his hand raised here, because Taylor Lapilus has rock solid takedown defense. He's amazing at range, and he's going to stick to his game plan. He's also never been finished. So we know this guy is probably not going to get finished. If he does, that'll be a massive shock. But we also know that at range, he's able to win minutes, and he's not going to get put on his back and lose minutes that way. So he's a minute winner. He's in France. He's a fan favorite out there in France. He's going to have the home crowd on his side, and I think he gets this one done, probably by decision. Most likely, but we're just going to play him on the money line here for the parlay. Joanderson Brito, money line. I think he's levels above William Gomi. And I was a little bit skeptical on the Gomi side going into this matchup, just because I know he could play that boring kickboxing game, which he's pretty good at. But you look at Brito's fights, every single fight, he's going to take the fight to you. He's going to try to get inside, impose his physicality. And after I watched the weigh-ins, the dude's already grabbing him. I think Joanderson Brito closes the distance, pushes him up against the cage, drags him down, throws him on his back, does what he does to guys in the UFC. And I look at the level of competition, too. Brito's fought Diego Lopez, Bill Algeo, Andre Fili, Jonathan Pierce, Jack Shore, Chepe Mariscal before he even got in the UFC. Like, he's fought really good competition. And I look on the other side for Gomi. His wins in the UFC are just not very good. Like Giannis Gamori, 0-2. Francis Marshall, 2-2. But that was a split decision where Gomi really didn't do anything, but Francis Marshall didn't do anything either. And then his UFC debut was Jarno Aarons, who I think went 1-3 or 1-4 in the UFC. So I think that there's a big difference in level of competition, and I think he should be able to get this one done. I think he probably finishes Gomi, but we'll just take it easy on this parlay and take him on the money line. Minus 143. It's a little bit chalky, but I just love both guys to win, and I'll throw 2.25 units on there, and we can cash a nice little easy parlay there. From here, we'll move on to the Underdog Fantasy plays. I guess they're actually just called Underdog now, not Underdog Fantasy. But I told you at the top of the show, I went through and tallied up all of the two-legger DFS plays that I give out on the premium plays. So I give out usually 3 to 4 two-leggers on Underdog, 3 to 4 two-leggers on Betr picks for every single UFC card. And the tally is currently sitting at plus 48.52 units year to date. So we're hitting, boys. This is the app, bro. Underdog and Betr, we smack them. So that 48.52 units isn't even including the 5-leggers that we've been putting on. I know I haven't updated these in a while, but you get the point. If you're in one of these highlighted states, you're eligible to play. Download the app. Use my code HeyJive. You'll get a deposit bonus up to $1,000. If you'd sign up today and you get that deposit bonus, you could basically put these plays in that I'm about to give you for free because they're going to give you promo funds. You can use those promo funds. You can play these for free. Let's get into it. Underdog fantasy plays for this week. I got 3 underdog plays, 3 Betr plays. I'll give you those Betr plays later in the video. 20x payout here. I love it. I love it because I love the numbers. I think I know how these fights are going to play out, and there's a lot of historical data to back it up. Gabriel Miranda, lower than 25.5 significant strikes. He's never gone over. He's a grappler. Morgan Charrier is a guy that doesn't get hit all the ton on the feet. And I think Miranda is probably just going to look to bulldoze in there and take him down. And when he doesn't, he's going to be a fish out of water. He's probably going to get pieced up and knocked out. Or he could find an early sub and then it still cashes. Imavov, lower on significant strikes. I loved it more at this 67.5 significant strike number just because it's better. But I do think he probably sits around 50 in this matchup just because Brendan Allen he would be an idiot not to wrestle or try to grapple in this fight. So if he gets him down to the ground, he's not landing significant strikes off his back. And then Imavov gets held up against the cage a lot. And for once in his last 3 fights, have all been guys that were born in 1980s or before. Like they were born in the 1980s. I think Allen is more in his prime. He can get takedowns on Imavov. And there's upside for the early finish here. Imavov could knock out Brendan Allen. Brendan Allen could sub him. So I think there's possibilities for early finish. And even if it doesn't and it goes to a decision, I think Imavov probably sticks around 50 to 55 in this matchup defending takedowns. Gomi, lower on significant strikes, not a high volume guy whatsoever. Joanna Sabritu, like I said, it's probably going to get his takedowns and go to work there. And I think he probably does finish William Gomi. So upside for the early finish. Gomi's not a high volume guy, and he's going to have to defend takedowns here, like that number. Brian Battle, higher on significant strikes. Battle, if his fights go to a decision, which this fight is favored to go to a decision, he should land between 75 to 95 in this matchup, I think. Maybe he could crack 100. Just because both guys are usually strikers who will grapple kind of as a second option or more defensively. I don't really see either guy having a ton of success on the ground or looking to take the fight to the ground. I think it's probably going to be a stand-up battle for 15 minutes. Stand-up battle, literally. For 15 minutes, and I think he'll probably rack up 75 to 95, maybe even crack 100 in this matchup because both guys are pretty high volume and very durable. Moicano, lower on significant strikes. He's gone under this number in 10 of his last 11 fights. The only fight that he didn't was RDA, which arguably could have been stopped after round 3, maybe even after round 4. But the thing is, Benoit is he's going to come downhill the entire time. And he's actually never been hit more than this number except for his UFC debut against Zaleski where he got his ass whooped. I don't think Moicano's really going to be looking to strike with him. I think he'll probably try to take the shots from Benoit. I think Benoit will probably win round 1 at a pretty high clip. Could maybe finish Moicano in the process, but Moicano's probably going to get put on his back. He doesn't take a ton of damage from his back. He usually tries to hold on. It's not really his best spot. But I think Moicano's just going to try to weather the storm, not really land a ton early in the fight, and then take over. And I think he'll probably be looking to try to take the back, maybe land a knee up the middle. We'll see. But he's just not a high-volume guy. So give me Moicano lower there. It's a 20x play. We also talked about Imavov here. Lapalus, higher on significant strikes. That's a number that I loved there at 64.5. I think he could probably get 75 to 90 in this matchup. It's probably going to go to a decision. He's a high-volume guy on the feet. Umar C, higher on takedowns. I like this fight to go a little bit longer. I don't think Umar C is just going to roll through him. I think he's probably going to have to work for his takedowns and work for his positions because I think Daun Jung, based on what I've seen on film and his takedown defense it's about 79, 80%. I think Umar C's strong enough and just athletic enough to get takedowns. I just don't know if he's going to be able to hold him there. So I think he could rack up 2, 3 in the first round, maybe pick up another one in the second round, and I think he goes over this number. Brito lower on significant strikes. Gomi never been hit more than 28 times, I think, in a UFC fight, and all those went to decision, pretty much. Brito is going to look to grapple. I like that. Miranda lower, Moicano lower. We already talked about that. Round prop. Over 1.5 rounds here on Umar C and Da Un Jung. Minus 150. I'm putting 1.5 units on that. I pretty much alluded to it in the Underdog Fantasy recap there, but I think Da Un Jung is a massive step up in competition. I just don't see a way where Umar C, however you say it, goes in there and does what he does to Da Un Jung like he did to Tuco Tokos. I think there's a big skill gap there. I think Da Un Jung can match his frame. I think he can defend some takedowns. I think he can stay safe on the ground, at least for the first round. He's also on a 3-fight losing streak. His back is up against the wall. I don't think if he gets put in a bad position early that he's just going to quit. So I think there's enough here to take the over 1.5. It's a light heavyweight grappler. I don't really think there's a ton of finishing upside in round 1. And I do think that he probably goes to a decision here. So I like the over 1.5. Here on this fight. Umar C, Da Un Jung, minus 150, 1.5 units to win one back. All right, so I mentioned earlier at the top of the show, I'm going to let you know how to get all of my plays for this weekend for free. So Home of Fight Picks is where you're going to get all of my UFC bets, all of my Dana White Contender Series bets, PFL bets, and on the straight bets and the parlays, we're positive 44.28 units year to date. So we're almost cracking 50 units. I would love to get to that 50 unit mark on this card. If we can rack up 5.75, get to that number. I would love that just to move into October at up 50 units. But if you want all my bets for UFC, for PFL, for Dana White Contender Series, join the Winnable. Use the code MONEY for a 5-day free trial. So when you join, use the code MONEY at checkout. You'll get a 5-day free trial, so you'll get access to all the bets for UFC Paris. And when you use it, you're going to have it for 5 days, so you'll get Contender Series on Tuesday as well. It's a beautiful offer. Use the code MONEY. You get all the UFC bets, all the Contender Series bets there on Winnable, and it'll get directly texted to your phone. So whenever I put in a play, it'll send you a notification on your phone. Click the link, and you can look at it so you don't miss anything. Good stuff there. Links down in the bio to join. Or link down in the description to join, not the bio. All right, now we got a prop bet. We've been crushing it on these plus 3.5 point spreads. I think we hit one of the last 2 best bets shows. We had Hebovix, he won outright, and we had Chris Padilla, he also won outright. I think we got to go here with Daria Zheleznikova. Plus 3.5 point spread at plus 110 odds. Love it. You're getting plus money on a girl just to win one round. I put 1.5 units on it. I think Daria is a much better striker here. I think she can win round 3 at a pretty high clip, just considering Eileen Perez is usually strong early on. She can get takedowns, but she does tend to slow down. And after that first round, the takedowns don't come as easily, and she can get reversed, she can get stuffed. I think she wins round 3. I think she could probably win late round 2. She could steal round 2. Round 1, she's going to have to defend takedowns, but if she does, she can win round 1. And I do think there's a possibility she could knock her out. So I like Daria Zheleznikova here, plus 3.5 point spread. We just need her to win one round on all 3 judges' scorecards, and we win. Or she could win outright. Now, this is also in France, where Daria Zheleznikova trains out of. We got a little edge for some home cooking. So let's go with it. I like it. I know she can get taken down, but we also know that Perez just doesn't do a ton of damage on the ground. So if she can get takedowns, stay safe, get better position, I think she can win at least one round here, and that's all we need. Plus 110, 1.5 units. Give me it. Daria, baby. All right, now we'll move on to the Betr Picks app. Take a look at this map. If you're in one of the purple states, you're eligible to play. Use the code HEYJIVE for a deposit bonus up to $250. This is reminding you, plus 48.52 units year-to-date on the 2-leggers, not even including these slips where you turn $50 into 25 hundo. So yeah, I mean, plus 48.52 units, man. I know there's a lot of people out there that would love to make that kind of money. So go to the link down in the description, or check the description for the link for better picks. Use the code HeyJive, get your deposit bonus, and you can put it on these plays. We got 3 two-leggers and 1 big money slip. We kind of went through a lot of these, but for the ones that we didn't, Kevin Jousset, higher on significant strikes. I think it's a high striking 3-round battle, and he's probably going to get, I'd probably say 80, 75 to 95, kind of like the battle. Just going to depend how fast-paced the fight is, but I think Jousset clearly goes over 64.5 if this fight goes the distance, which it is favored to. Darius Leshnikova, higher than 30.5 significant strikes. I love it. I love it because we know Eileen Perez can gas out, and she could get 20 to 25 just in the third round. And if she got like 55, something like that in her last fight against another grappler, wrestler, she was still able to get 50-something. I think even if she gets 11 around, she's winning this one. So I like that. It's super low. I love those low numbers where you could just cash it real easy. Maybe she could pick up 20 in the first round, and then we just need a few in the last 2. So I like it there. We already talked about battle. We're going to play Cavalcanti over on significant strikes just because she cashes this. She cashes it. I mean, she's cashed it her first 2 UFC fights. And if I watched back the Cornoli-Cavalcanti fight, she was landing a ton in that fight too. So I think she probably will go over this number here at 80.5. I could see her at 90 to over 100. Barres lower on significant strikes. He's a powerful dude who can get taken down, and he's willing to grapple with you. I think this fight probably hits the mat a good amount, and I just don't see a ton of striking exchanges where they're just slugging it out, because Victor Altamirano, if he's hurt, he's shooting a takedown. Even if he's not hurt, he's shooting a takedown. He's kind of a weird guy to hit. He's not a guy that gets hit all the time. Ludovic Klein, higher on significant strikes. He's gone over that in 8 of his 9 UFC fights, I think it is. I don't know exactly how many, but he's gone over it at every single UFC fight except for 1, which was his UFC debut. He's a calculated guy. He likes to chip away. I think he gets over 40.5 here. And here's the 100x multiplier, $50 to win $5K. We pretty much talked about everything on here, so I won't go over that, but that's a 100x multiplier. You can win up to 1,000x on better picks. So once again, if you're in one of these purple states, go to the link down in the description, download the app, use the code HeyJive for a deposit bonus. You can play these for free with that deposit bonus. Lastly, I will ask you, or I'll offer you to join the free Telegram channel. Why? Because we're giving out free plays in there. Now, probably don't want to tell my NFL plays, but I will still post them in there because it's fun. My NFL plays, I've been getting smoked in the NFL, so that's why I'm excited about having the UFC card back. But before that, on the Contender Series, we were cashing some Contender Series bets, so this was the free play I posted in there. Elijah Smith by decision plus 3 hundo. Also posted DFS plays in there as well. And you'll just get updates from me in there. So you get free plays, you get updates. You know, when those codes drop, we had a code for the Contender Series, code Dana, to get the 5-day free trial on Winnable. Posted it in there. Just stay up to date. There's a link down in the description for there. It's free. Just join up, and you can stay up to date with everything and get some free plays. Appreciate you for watching. Please like the video. Hit the subscription button for me. Let's cash some bets. Good luck to you. UFC Paris. Moicano. I hope you get it done, brother. Till next time, HeyJive Picks. We out.